Welcome to the Mingo and Karen Show, the podcast. We're excited that you've chosen to explore the topic of life with us. All of us are here for a reason, so let's venture on this journey together. Today, we want to talk about the power of perspective and what that means. I remember growing up, my dad used to always say, keep your eye on the donut and not the hole.
Powerful statement.
Yeah. And, when it's like at first, it's like, oh my God, why does he keep saying that? Why does he keep saying it? But the older I got and the more I understood the value of your perspective, the more sense it made. If you think about it, if you keeping your eye on the donut, you can see everything that you really do have. If you're focused on the whole, you see what you don't have.
Walk right through the donut and don't taste it.
Absolutely. And so we don't take time to look at the good things around us no matter what's going on. You always have the opportunity to find something good. It's just where is your perspective?
Yeah.
You got to be able to fine tune what that is. When I was definitely younger, I had a terrible attitude. I mean, I just had a really bad attitude. But I think also I didn't know how to stay positive no matter what. Now, it's not always easy to do because sometimes, as a human being, you're going to go through emotions. So you're going to be mad, sometimes if something makes you mad.
Yeah.
You're going to be sad if something makes you sad. Like, it's not, that part of it is not going to change. But what can change is how you view it. Even in the moment when you're experiencing that emotion, right? You still have the opportunity to deal with the emotion in that moment,
Yeah.
but also kind of to scale it back and put it into the right perspective.
And staying focused, that's not easy. Staying focused in the midst of everything. And like you're saying, the power of a perspective has to do your viewpoint,
Yeah.
the information that you have, just the whole everything. You need all the information for you to have a good perspective and staying focused. One of the ways I stay focused, Karen used to always say to me when we were younger, quiet the noise. I didn't understand what that meant, quiet the noise. And as I'm older, I understand that quieting the noise is get all the distractions away so you can really tune in and really just put your attention to what your goal is. And like the analogy about the donut in the hole, just think about that. Just imagine if you were going to get you some donuts and that hot, fresh donut sign come on. But you so in La La Land, you ride right past the building.
Yeah.
And then when you turn around and make a U-turn and come back, the hot donut sign off.
Oh, man.
You didn't stay focused.
Well,
Got to stay focused.
yeah.
So when you're staying focused, you have to really quiet the noise and decide on what it is you're focusing on. So that has to do with the ultimate end game. And when I say the end game, if our focus is to be, graduate college, for 4 years, you have to stay focused.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that happen throughout those 4 years. Friends come and go. You learn more because you take more classes. You're put in different situations. You don't necessarily know, inclement weather because, we are here in the South. So, you just don't know.
Right.
You just have to stay focused.
Yeah, and even, talking about that and also understanding the power of perspective. Let's go back to the analogy that you gave about going to college for 4 years, right?
Yeah.
You already know what the expectation is to complete it, right? But if your perspective is, oh man, I got to get up and go to class and I don't feel like it, that in and of itself is something is necessary to do. But instead of going to class and doing what you're supposed to do, what you can do is change your perspective and say, you know what, I'm grateful that I get to go to class today because everybody's not in your shoes. So, and that's something that no matter what you're going through, no matter where you are, you have to be able to stay with the plan, know what it is. And even when you were just talking about the end, you already know the end result is for you to graduate.
Yeah.
So if that's the end, you got to keep a positive perspective. You have to be disciplined and know what that looks like for your life. And once you are able to kind of see it differently, then I think it makes it, I know for me personally, me changing my perspective about something has actually allowed me to go through life a lot easier. Because if I'm in a situation where something is not going my way, or, or I wanted a different outcome in a situation, I've had to learn to really pull back on trying to really control it, or trying to make it be what I want it to be. Maybe it's that it wasn't meant to be. Maybe it's that, and so me changing my perspective made me also realize that sometimes I have to kind of just stop and let it flow. And if it's meant to happen, it'll happen.
Yeah.
If it's not meant to happen, then it doesn't. And me being able to say, you know what, I'm looking at this wrong. I have to make sure that if it's not flowing like I need it to, sometimes it means that you got to work a little bit harder, right? But then there are other times it means you need to let it go.
You know, with you saying that, I used to always say to the kids, it's not what it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be, in your mind, the worst situation ever.
Mm-hmm.
And, dealing with kids, the last situation was the worst situation
Right.
ever. But now we're dealing with this worst situation ever.
Yeah.
And I would say to them, it's not what it looks like.
Yeah.
I'm like, Dad, what you mean? What? No, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what it looks like. And that's the point you're making about perspective. It's all in your perspective in it.
Yeah.
You have to look at the cause and effect. What did you do? That's what I want to know. What did you do? So if you could take that perspective of what did I do? Now, sometimes things just happen around you.
Yeah.
You didn't cause it, but you still got to get a perspective on it. And
Yeah.
you got to get it quickly, because if not, you'll start going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you call it the rabbit hole.
And the snowball, that thing will start off a little bitty snowball, and next thing you know, it's a boulder destructing everything.
Yeah.
Because you've let your perspective go out the window. You've let what it looks like in your mind be reality when that's not really it.
Yeah.
So we taught them, quiet the noise. Quiet the noise might mean, hey, let me step away from this set of friends because they are just as dramatic or more than me. So they're not helping the situation.
Yes.
So you have to really, really get your emotions together, your heart beating fast, you're sweating, and you feel like I got to make a decision. And I also tell the kids, nobody can make you make a decision right now.
Yeah.
If you don't know and you're not prepared to make the decision, how can you can't make it? So that's a perspective thing.
Yeah.
That's definitely a perspective thing.
And, when I think a certain level of positivity has to begin to take space up in your mind, right? So when something happens, instead of having a meltdown, looking at it, finding the positives, finding the okay, in traffic, something, because y'all know how Atlanta traffic is. So when you're sitting in traffic and you're trying to make it through it, and it's like, oh my gosh, this traffic is really
Gospel
really,
music can't keep you positive in that
oh
traffic.
yes, it can. But I mean, even though it's aggravating, the way I look at it is, I get to spend time, like say, even on Sundays here is crazy, but you and I get to spend time just talking.
Okay, that's a good perspective.
See?
You fixed it.
I'm
You
just
fixed
saying, like, even though the traffic is horrible here, a lot of the times, you know, it can be very congested. The fact that if I'm in the car with you, the fact that I get to spend time with you. If I'm by myself, the fact that I get to quiet time, right? And when you were talking about quieting your mind, sometimes we have a lot of background noise that goes on in our thought process, and because we have that background noise, we tend to let our minds go in all these different places, which is talking about your rabbit hole moment, and your snowballing. You start to go places that you don't even need to go. Oh my God, I should have done this, or what if I had done that, instead of just calming down.
Believe it or not, I was a negative thinker growing up, and even somewhat as an adult. I mean, the first thought would come in my head is not negative in the sense of I don't want this to happen. Negative in the sense of I was trying to figure out what I would do if I didn't get what I wanted, versus believing I was going to get what I wanted.
Wow.
And I didn't realize that till we had a conversation about it, maybe mid-20s, and then we really got back into it in our 30s. Because I didn't feel myself to be a negative person. I felt like I was a jovial person to a certain extent, especially in my older age, because I like to have fun, I like to laugh. But when it came to my real life stuff, I would just think about not necessarily getting what I wanted, but not necessarily a positive outcome. So how was I going to fix it? How was the buffer? What was going to be the buffer situation? So staying positive, how do you do that? we say a lot of things, and always remember, and me, Karen and I, when we say things, we're going to always try to give you some background to it, give you some examples,
Right.
so we could, kind of give you an idea of how you can do this for yourself. So for me, when I want to stay positive, I talked about sniffing the crayons at the one job, and not literally sniffing crayons, just enjoying the smell of crayons.
It's nostalgic.
It's nostalgic. So it's like savory food during Thanksgiving. It just warms the heart. Christmas is my favorite time of the year. The different smells that come along with Christmas. The spice smells, just the different floral arrangements, those type of things.
Right.
So in order to stay positive, you have to realize to yourself what makes you feel good. That's the way positivity works. When you think of something positive and you're just sitting there on your own and you smile, like I think about you, it makes me smile.
Aw,
I think about our young adult children, it makes me smile.
Yeah.
I think about
Skylar.
I think about my granddaughter, or I think about the successes of my friends, moving up the ladder in the corporate world, or somebody getting married or having a baby. It makes me smile. It doesn't take but a second to apply that formula when you're going through something that doesn't make you smile.
Absolutely.
So that's why that can help you stay positive.
One of the scariest and most beautiful things I've ever seen is the eye of a hurricane.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm fascinated by it is because it's so calm in the middle. When you're in the eye of that storm, and I've seen like the storm chaser guys where they go into the eye, right? And when you look up, oh my God, the sky is like bluer than it's ever been. The cloud wall in the eye is white and it's beautiful. And what's scary about it though is as calm as it is in that eye, it's destruction around the eye. So I would liken staying positive to being the eye in your own life. And what that means for me, you, and anyone is that it doesn't matter what's going on around you. You can stay calm. You can stay positive. You can be your own calm.
You're the captain of your ship.
You are the captain of your ship. You are the eye in that hurricane.
Yeah.
And you can stay, you got this. And I think that if you learn that no matter what's going on around you, that you have the power and the ability to determine not what's going on around you, but how you handle what's going on around you.
Your reaction.
Your reaction, your action.
Oh, this is a chance to be proactive though.
Yeah.
Because you're already thinking about what am I going to do if this comes my way. So if you come into, let's say, work, and you already know that something happened that only you know. You the person that know it. You know what happened. You know what caused to get you in this type of feeling before you get in work. You should already decide that, okay, I have certain buzzwords or certain things that people bring up. It may set me off in here and it may really go down today. So when you hear that word, it's like, I don't mean to be rude. Excuse me for 1 second. I need to excuse myself for a second.
And go and regroup.
You don't have to explain nothing.
Yeah.
You just need a moment. And a person that don't want to let you have that moment, they're trying to affect your eye, your hurricane, or your tornado. They're trying to affect your eye. They're trying to penetrate. They're trying to probe. They're trying to see, what can I do to push her buttons today? Because, see, she looking a little too calm, so I know something going on. So the point I'm making about that and staying positive, the first thing you got to do is pluck that bad fruit from around you that causes you not to be positive. And sometimes you might be the rotten fruit.
Woo!
You might be the person. You may, the office, the job, the situation, the group may be perfect till you walk in.
So in other words, you can't be the eye because you're the hurricane.
You beyond the hurricane. You are beyond the hurricane. You are the situation. You might be both. You may be playing both sides against yourself.
Wow.
That's why you have to look at it introspectively.
Yeah.
Like, okay, am I bringing this negativity to the room? Did everybody get quiet when I walked in?
Ooh.
Am I sitting here and nobody spoke to me? They don't know what happened to you before you got there. So
that's true.
So stay positive is you start on you first.
Yeah.
And I am a positive person, and Karen is a positive person. We believe that if we put out positivity, we'll get positivity back. I mean, that's just a simple foundation. That's why we call ourselves the common sense couple.
Yeah.
It's common sense.
Yeah.
If I'm nice to you, Of course I want something out of it. I want you to be nice back to me. I don't want to say, hey, how you doing? I don't want you to say, what you talking to me for? What? What? You serious? And then, but if you don't understand your own positivity, then you go into, I bet I don't speak to him tomorrow. I bet I don't speak to her tomorrow. Now, guess what you are? You are the negativity.
Yeah, and then when you do that also, and when you become that, think about the damage, the collateral damage that you're doing against yourself. I mean, it doesn't hurt you to be nice or to be positive. It doesn't hurt you to, even if let's just not even talk about bringing light into someone else's life. You got to bring light into your own life.
Oh yeah, you so bad and you so negative, Jake at State Farm won't cover you. I'm just saying. Call it what it is.
Yeah, and you have to be able to, like you said, know yourself enough to know whether that's you or not. I consider myself to really be a people person.
Yeah,
and so
you know, talk to anyone.
I will strike up a conversation. And I love kids, so I tend to be that way. If I'm not talking, it's got to be a real problem. But oftentimes,
that
like
means
if
you the tornado,
right? And then I might be, I might be Hurricane Karen. You know what I'm saying that day. But no, seriously, I think we have to be better about how we're viewing ourselves and things and people around us. No matter, it's a lot that's going on in our world right now that frankly sometimes really scares me. Just like, oh my gosh, a lot of negativity. But I'm here.
You're here.
I got my 5 senses. I have my husband and my children and my grandbaby and my family. I have so many things around me that are good, that I have to stay focused and keep my perspective positive no matter what else is going on. Because number one, I can't control it. But and secondly, because I can only control what part of that I can make a difference in. And so if I had a negative, can you imagine just walking around dragging and being negative? Oh my God, well, this is happening. Oh goodness, that's happening. No, you have to stay positive, stay focused. It's necessary. And what happens is your life will begin to open up something different. So in other words, how you practice that, because we talk about a lot about practicing things in that moment. So let's just go back to the work analogy you use. Say you got a coworker who just gets under all of your skin, right?
That one.
Just that one.
Everybody has a Neo.
Yeah.
That's a Matrix reference for those who like that movie. Everybody has the one.
Oh my gosh. But you have that person that gets under your skin, and say they sit by you, right? And if you're in a cubicle situation.
Ooh, you have jumped out your skin and moved over 4 desks
right,
without changing your seat.
Exactly, because that person just irritates you.
Yeah.
Right? Well, what is it? What is your irritation about?
That's a good question to ask.
What is your irritation about? Like, shouldn't you, instead of allowing yourself to be caught up in, oh my God, this person this, oh my gosh, this person that, if your focus became more about what you were doing versus either what they're not doing or what they're doing to somebody else, even if it's what you feel like that person is doing to you, you got to be able to switch it up and say, you know what, nope, I got to figure out a way to either I'm going to find gratitude in this, or I'm going to find me a way to be in a peaceful place. For me, I know I love podcasts. That's why we're doing this one. Yeah. But I'll turn on some music. I got to figure out ways to drown out the negative so that I can stay focused on the positive. And until I can, and sometimes that means you got to get up and walk away. Like you just said, and you might have to just go to the break room or go somewhere and just give yourself a minute to change your perspective and then come back and be who you're supposed to be. And if you're struggling with that, then one of the things that you can do, just take a minute, breathe deep. We tell Skylar that. You breathe deeply. Take a minute, get yourself together, and then go back. Because you can't change people.
Yeah, you can't.
You can only be focused on what it is that you can do.
Hey, you got to come in agreement with yourself to change you.
Yeah,
Because
for sure.
if you don't agree with yourself on making the change, not going to happen, people. Not going to happen.
It's not. And so I think what's important too is that you got to keep moving. You got to keep going. Don't be, whatever it is that your goal is, your mission is, your purpose is, that needs to become the thing that you put your eye on. That's the prize. Not what other people have going on, not what other people are doing. That's for your family. That's for your friends. That's for your whatever. Get focused and keep going.
So you think about the power of perspective. We've told you have to stay focused. You have to stay positive, and you got to keep moving forward. How do you keep moving forward? You put one foot in front of the other.
Yep.
It doesn't rain all day everywhere. It just doesn't. Sun is shining somewhere.
Yep.
But if you stand in a place where it always rains, you will always be wet. And
Ooh.
you will never be going anywhere. So you keep moving forward. How do you keep moving forward? Remember the analogy about the donut. Keep your eye on the donut and not the hole. You have to stay. You have to get in a mental mindset that I will accomplish this. You have to set out all positive goals. You have to have a positive, you have to foresee a positive outcome. Because if you foresee a negative outcome,
that's what you
get. I'm not psychic or nothing, but I believe that a lot of times you don't reach, the ultimate end that you're looking for. So putting one foot in front of the other, Karen and I are very good at that. I mean, you knock me down, turn me over, flip me over, I'm gonna get right back up and keep going in the same direction.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like Kunta Kinte.
Oh Lord, don't say that.
They cut his foot off and he still kept trying to
going.
escape because he wanted to go back home. We are that tunnel vision as a couple, as individuals, and I'm not saying it has to be to that extreme, and that's definitely a compliment I'm making to the writer of Roots. That character had such a drive of moving forward that he never stopped,
and he never lost his perspective.
Never stopped. He always remembered how
he knew
beautiful it was
go.
where he came from. He never stopped. We have to have that never give up mentality. If your goal is to be the biggest podcast in the world,
that's us.
Sitting in your own little space, thinking your own negative thoughts, surrounded by a bunch of negative people, hanging out in negative situations, and a bunch of people who don't complete anything. I had somebody tell me, if you have 9 broke friends, you're bound to be number 10.
Yep.
So I'm just speaking of averages. So why not increase your circle? If you're the top person in your circle, 9 times out of 10, everybody is trying to get to your level so it doesn't make you work as hard. Why not step out of your circle and get in a circle of people that know more, have more, and understand more than you do to help elevate you?
So you can learn.
So just moving circles is putting one foot in front of the other. But staying in the same circle, you may just be standing there. And that's not the ultimate goal. You were designed to learn, to grow, to become better. But we also understand about paying forward. We also understand about giving back. We also understand about sharing our experiences, being good to people, being kind to others, speaking goodness over people, telling our children you can do anything. And not telling them that. Now, my kids, they know how we are. So I tell them, hey, you want to sing? Let's hear you sing. And then they sing. I say, hey, what's that other plan? Because I don't want them to get in front of somebody.
But that perspective, though.
Yeah, it's a perspective at the house. I'm talking about for real, getting in front of people. Not saying now if you show signs of potential and you can grow, that's in anything. That's even babies trying to walk. You think about little kids. We're so excited after when they scoot, then they crawl. Oh boy, don't let them grab the couch and make it all the way around the couch, holding the couch. And the day they let that couch go, we'll work them to death. Oh, you go walk today. Now we've moved them from the couch. We got them in the middle of the floor, like having them in the middle of the ocean without a life preserver, and saying, hey, walk to mama, walk to daddy. That baby has to have a good perspective, because I would be thinking, you ain't about nothing. Now you see my legs shaking like a baby deer right here. Come help me. Then I got to fall and cry. Then you want to save me. So I'm finna work you a little bit. But it's all about perspective, like we said. So keep moving forward, and from a common sense standpoint, it's exactly what we're saying it is. Just keep walking forward. Walk out of that situation into a better situation. Just keep moving forward.
I mean, even walk out of that relationship into a relationship with yourself. I mean, it's just, I'm being for real, but I'm also kind of joking a little bit. But moving in don't ever allow you to not give you the positive outlook for your own life. When you do that, you become stagnant. It's like being stale, and you're not growing, and you're not learning, and you're not progressing. Perspective, when you got that in line, you're going to be able to focus better, to think better. Even the way you behave will begin to change once your mind begins to change.
Yeah.
Perspective is what's in your mind. And then your body will begin to kind of follow suit with whatever it is that you're thinking, right? And so what I'm saying is, let's just say for me, y'all have been working on this, I've been doing this walk from home thing, right? And so in the past, I was like, ooh, I ain't gonna never be able to run. I can't be a runner. Oh my gosh, this is not gonna happen. But it just so happens that this particular video that I do has a boost in it, and you have to run. If you had told me that I would be running and jogging,
Yeah.
But my mind in the past was not, my perspective on running was, oh my gosh, it's going to be too hard. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be winded.
Oh, you talking about your knees and ankles hurt before you even start running.
Exactly. Oh, that was me. And struggling with that. But now, because I believe that I can do it, and I changed my perspective, that makes it bearable.
Yeah.
It makes it doable. It makes it real.
Obtainable.
And that's what I'm living right now. So, having a positive perspective on life gives you a tremendous power that shows you and makes you believe. You begin to change everything, and you learn that just by changing the way you think about it, you can change your life.
You can change your life.
Happy relationship building.
Happy relationship building.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. You can find us on Facebook on our Love is Powerful Stuff page, and at Mingo and Karen on Twitter and Instagram. Happy relationship building.